You know what is pathetic? Watching a man text a woman 30 times while she ignores every single one. You know what is powerful? Watching a woman check her phone every 5 minutes, desperate to see if he texted back. What separates those two men? It is not looks, it is not money, it is not status. It is 3 psychological triggers that most men never activate because nobody taught them the truth about female obsession. And I am going to warn you right now, what I am about to share will make you angry, because once you understand these 3 triggers, you'll realize how many women you lost simply because you didn't know the game. But here is the good news. Once you learn this, you'll never chase again. Women will chase you. Let me tell you about Marcus, average guy, software developer, 5'9", receding hairline. Nothing remarkable about him physically, but this man had 3 women texting him every day, competing for his attention. One of them literally left her boyfriend to be with him. Why? Because Marcus understood what I am about to teach you. He activated the 3 psychological triggers that bypass logic and tap directly into a woman's obsession circuitry. And before you think this is about manipulation, it is not. This is about understanding female psychology at a level most men never reach. See, most men operate from a place of scarcity. They meet a woman they like, and instantly, their entire world revolves around her. Every text, every call, every action is designed to win her approval. And that is exactly why they lose her. Women don't become obsessed with men who seek their approval. They become obsessed with men who make them seek approval. Read that again. So let's break down the 3 triggers that create female obsession. And I promise you, by trigger 3, you'll understand why you've been doing everything backwards. The 3 psychological triggers. Trigger 1, unpredictability. Here is what most men do. They meet a woman. She seems interested. So they text her good morning every day. They call at the same time. They become routine, predictable, safe. And women hate safe. I know that sounds wrong. Society tells you women want security, consistency, comfort. Not when attraction is forming. In those early stages, unpredictability is cocaine to the female brain. Think about it. When you can predict everything a man does, what mystery is left? What is there to think about? A woman's brain stops working when you become predictable because you become solved. And solved men don't create obsession. Here is the brutal truth. Women become obsessed with men they can't quite figure out. The man who texts her every morning, solved. The man who disappears for 3 days, then shows up with an interesting story, mystery. Let me give you an example. James used to text his crush every single night at 9 p.m. Like clockwork, she'd reply. They'd chat. It was nice. But guess what? She was also talking to 3 other guys. He was just another notification. Then James learned about unpredictability. He went 3 days without texting. When he finally did, he didn't apologize or explain. He just said, "You crossed my mind today. Remind me why that is dangerous." Suddenly, she is responding within seconds. She is asking where he has been. She is checking her phone constantly. Why? Because the routine broke. The predictability died, and her brain went into overdrive trying to figure him out. Now, I am not telling you to play games. I am telling you to have a life so interesting that you are genuinely unpredictable. When you are building a business, pursuing hobbies, hanging with friends, traveling, you become unpredictable naturally. You are not always available because you are actually busy. That is the difference. Fake unpredictability is manipulation. Real unpredictability is having a life she wants to be part of. But unpredictability alone isn't enough. Because if you are unpredictable but also desperate, you'll still lose her. Which brings us to trigger 2. Trigger 2, selective validation. Most men validate women constantly. You are beautiful. You are amazing. I've never met anyone like you. And guess what? Every other man says the exact same thing. So your validation means nothing. Here is the trigger. Women become obsessed with men whose validation they have to earn. Not men who give it freely. Men who make them wonder, does he even like me? Am I special to him? This is going to sound harsh, but it is true. The moment you make a woman feel like she has already won you over, her pursuit ends. Game over. Why would she chase someone she is already caught? But when your validation is selective, when you notice specific things about her that others miss, when you withhold approval until she shows you something worth approving, that is when obsession kicks in. Let me give you a powerful example. Most men compliment a woman's appearance. You look beautiful tonight, safe, boring, generic. But a man who understands selective validation, he says nothing about her looks. Instead, he notices something she did. I respect how you handled that conversation. Most people would have gotten defensive, but you stayed curious. That is rare. You just validated her character, not her appearance. And guess what? She is going to remember that forever. Why? Because her appearance gets validated 100 times a week. Her character, almost never. Selective validation does something powerful. It makes her want to earn more validation from you. She'll start trying to impress you. She'll share more, open up more, seek your approval more. And before she realizes it, she is obsessed. But here is the warning. If you validate too much, you kill the trigger. If you validate too little, you come across as cold. The sweet spot. Validate her effort, her growth, her unique qualities, but make her work for it. Now, even with unpredictability and selective validation, you can still lose her if you fail the third trigger. And this one. This is where 90% of men collapse. Trigger 3, emotional independence. Listen carefully. Women do not become obsessed with men who need them. They become obsessed with men who choose them. That distinction will change everything for you. When a woman senses that your happiness depends on her attention, your confidence depends on her validation, your mood depends on her texts, she loses respect. And without respect, there is no obsession. Emotional independence means your world doesn't revolve around her. You have purpose, you have mission, you have goals that existed before she showed up and will continue after she is gone. She is an addition to your life, not the foundation of it. Here is a story that proves it. Daniel met a woman at a networking event. They exchanged numbers. She was gorgeous, successful, confident. Every guy wanted her. Daniel wanted her too. But here is what he did differently. After their first date, she texted him, "I had a great time. We should do that again soon." Most men would have jumped on that. "Yes, when are you free? Tomorrow, this weekend." But Daniel replied 6 hours later with, "It was solid. I've got a busy week, but I'll let you know when I am free." She was shocked. Nobody had ever responded like that. And you know what happened. She started pursuing him, texting first, suggesting dates, making herself available. Why? Because his emotional independence triggered something primal in her, the fear of missing out on a man who doesn't need her. Now, here is what emotional independence is not. It is not being cold. It is not ignoring her. It is not pretending you don't care. It is genuinely being okay whether she stays or goes because your happiness isn't tied to her decision. When you achieve that level of emotional independence, women sense it, and it drives them wild. Because most men are emotionally dependent. Most men crumble when she pulls back. Most men panic when she doesn't text, but you are unfazed, and that makes you irresistible. Let me break down exactly what this looks like in practice. She cancels a date. You don't guilt trip her. You say, "No problem. Let me know when you are free." Then you go do something else. She doesn't text back for a day. You don't double text. You are busy living your life. She tests you by mentioning another guy. You don't get jealous. You stay grounded. Every time you demonstrate emotional independence, her obsession grows. Why? Because you are proving you are not like other men. You are not desperate. You are not needy. You are not going to collapse if she leaves. And that makes her want to stay. Here is the paradox. The less you need her, the more she needs you. The less you chase her, the more she chases you. The more she chases you, the less your happiness depends on her, the more she wants to make you happy. That is the power of emotional independence. And when you combine it with unpredictability and selective validation, you create a psychological cocktail that makes her think about you constantly, check her phone obsessively, and pursue you relentlessly. So let's recap. The 3 psychological triggers that create female obsession Unpredictability. Be interesting enough that she can't predict you. Selective validation. Make your approval something she has to earn. Emotional independence. Show her you are complete without her. Now, here is what separates the men who use this information to build genuine connections from the men who use it to manipulate. Intent. If your goal is to trick women into obsessing over you so you can use them, this information will backfire. Women sense inauthenticity. They smell fake unpredictability, forced validation, and pretend independence from a mile away. But if your goal is to become a genuinely high-value man, a man with purpose, standards, and self-respect, these triggers activate naturally. You are not playing games. You are living at a higher level, and women become obsessed because you are the rare man who embodies these qualities authentically. So here is my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, focus on building yourself. Pursue goals that make you genuinely busy. Unpredictability. Develop standards for who deserves your time. Selective validation. Build a life so fulfilling, you don't need anyone to complete it. Emotional independence. Do that, and watch what happens. Watch how women start texting you first. Watch how they start pursuing you. Watch how they become obsessed with being the woman who earns your attention. Because the truth is this: women don't become obsessed with perfect men. They become obsessed with men who make them work for it, wonder about it, and want it more than anything else. Now you know the 3 triggers. The question is, what are you going to do with this information? Will you use it to manipulate? Or will you use it to elevate yourself into the kind of man women naturally obsess over? The choice is yours. But I'll tell you this: once you've experienced the power of having women pursue you instead of the other way around, you'll never go back to chasing again. If this opened your eyes, hit that like button. Share this with a brother who is stuck in the friend zone. Subscribe to this channel because we're breaking down the truths about female psychology that nobody else will tell you. And drop a comment below which trigger resonated with you most. Remember, stop chasing. Start attracting. Stop needing. Start choosing. Stop seeking obsession. Start creating it.